steered it is now really taking it out to sea pretty quickly, but it's still a large and powerful hurricane force system. So on the northern side, we still have onshore flow producing some storm surge, and we still have some lingering showers that are just kind of an annoyance on the backside of this, but it's still about 400 miles across in terms of the extent of winds of tropical storm force. So fully capable of still producing some storm surge in northeast Florida and on the Georgia coast. Modest compared to what happened on the other side of Florida, but still problems with saltwater flooding. And here's the warm sector of the frontal system. This is the part of the system that produced the tornadoes in southern and southeastern and east central Florida yesterday. But now we have lingering, relatively light and lightly scattered showers, but it's just an annoyance for the tornado recovery here on the east coast. And that will be lingering into the afternoon and evening because this system is so large. And there's still kind of a front involved in this, so there's still some isolated showers all the way through tonight and tomorrow morning in east central Florida. We don't want a drop of water for the recovery in that zone. Still have tropical storm warnings here, coastal Georgia and northeastern Florida because of those strong gusts on the eastern side. Still gusty in these wind advisory areas in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, where we're gusting 25, 30, even Charleston gusting to 35 miles an hour at the airport inland. West Palm Beach and Miami gusting 20 to 25, Savannah gusting to 25. So it's still windy, but things are improving. And there's that area that's still under a storm surge warning into the St. Johns River, by the way, where you have that flow from the northeast going right into the mouth of the river. So we could have 3 or more feet of saltwater flooding as we head into one more high astronomical tide cycle out.
Been talking to Mike Beckness, our meteorologist out there. Hillsborough County, hard hit, of course, by Helene. And you're going, wait, Helene going to make landfall near Tampa. Mike, we saw record-setting storm surge. Yeah. So you look at all of these homes, and I think you've been able to show us just how many homes. I think people think, oh, it must have been a few areas, but really a lot of destruction around Tampa. And now, as you pointed out, now you got rain all over everything out in the road.
Yeah, it's like everywhere. Right? So we're in the Bay Crest community here. It's on the west side of Tampa. And this is an area that's it's a certain prone area. It's in Zone A. And
look at the trees, and we all started going to the hallway. Didn't make their time. Started shoot, and I heard. My wife, under down.
Another Fort Myers homeowner says the storm ripped his home apart in a matter of minutes.
All this happened like instantaneously. These windows blew out. I was about probably right here when it happened.
One Tampa business owner braved floodwaters to assess the damage to his commercial property Thursday.
I don't know what to say. It's a lot.
Born and raised here, never seen nothing like this. With Helene, for the first time, we had storm surge and took on water in the 20 bottom units. Now with Milton here, we've lost the brand new carports. Our dock is destroyed.
While many evacuees are hoping to soon return home, Art Hit Sarasota's chief of emergency management is urging people to hold on a little longer.
Still dangerous out there, so we're asking for residents just if they could. We know a lot of people evacuated, which we appreciate, but we just need some time to clear everything so it's safe for them to return.
And Jake, the power of this storm is just incredible. We were on South Shore Drive where we are right now much of the morning yesterday. This dock was intact. This boat lift was up there, now it's in the water. And take a look at this. This piece of the dock right here, guess where it came from? All the way over here, just flew in that storm. There's pieces of the dock, the pilings are out there in the water as well. So it just goes to show you what can happen here. We also spoke to this homeowner and he told us that his security alarm went off because the storm blew his front doors wide open, Jake.
All right, Randy Kay in Sarasota. Thanks so much. CNN's Brian Todd is in Fort Pierce, Florida, in St. Lucie County on Florida's east coast, which sustained so much damage from a deadly tornado outbreak before Hurricane Milton even officially arrived. Brian, it seems as though many people have simply lost everything.
That's absolutely right, Jake. And everywhere you go in this county, St. Lucie County, you get glimpses of the sheer power and force of these tornadoes that plowed through here yesterday. And this is one example. Take a look at this. I don't think I've ever seen an 18-wheeler just basically picked up and tossed over like this. Look at the power that it took to just knock this thing over. There's another 18-wheeler across the street here. This truck was basically picked up and kind of impaled on a tree back there. And, you know, just the power that it took to lift this thing up and throw it on its side and impale it on trees. Again, there's another one across the street, just down the street from here on the Lakewood Park Methodist Church. A roof got ripped off. We spoke to the pastor there, Leo Valbrack, and said he knows some people in the community where the fatalities occurred. That's called the Spanish Lakes Country Club Village community. According to the sheriff of St. Lucie County, Keith Pearson, that's a modular home community for people who are 55 years and older. We have tried to get access to that community. The police and the sheriff's office are not letting us into that community. They're still scoping the damage, possibly looking for more victims and assessing just kind of exactly what happened in that village. But that area is the one that's really devastated. That is just a couple of miles south of here, Jake. Again, quotes from local officials. The commissioner of St. Lucie County, George Landry, said this has been a tragic 24 hours. The mayor of Port St. Lucie, Shannon Martin, says, quote, "We've never seen anything like this." And again, what's interesting about these tornadoes that came through here, Jake, they seem to have been kind of sporadic in nature. In some communities, they tear whole swaths of communities, and you can see the path. This one, it seemed that these tornadoes kind of touched down, affected certain pockets of communities, then lifted up. So you can see devastated buildings and things like this next to buildings that are completely intact. Jake?
All right, Brian Todd in Fort Pierce, Florida. Thank you so much. The storm surge left boats stranded on lawns and even tennis courts in Punta Gorda, Florida, about 50 miles south of where Hurricane Milton first made landfall. In other areas of the state, people lost their entire homes. That, of course, is where FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, comes in. I want to bring in Keith Turry. He's FEMA's acting director of response and recovery. Keith, how vast is the devastation in Florida, and where do you think it is the worst?
Yeah, obviously, the storm impacted the entire state, as your reporters were just saying, and we were talking about that before the storm. Obviously, we had the storm surge risk, the rainfall, which was extreme in some areas, and that tornado risk, which turned out to be a more significant risk of tornadoes than we typically see in a hurricane like this. So I think it's hard to say exactly where the most damaged areas are. Obviously, some of those is south of Tampa, where they have that storm surge is significantly impacted. But there's inland flooding in the Tampa area. We just talked about the tornadoes on the East Coast. And of course, we're still going to see riverine flooding in other parts of the state. So still a very dynamic situation and widespread impacts from Milton.
Let's talk about that, because the ongoing flooding that you're referring to in several parts of Florida is going on right now. How is FEMA aiding search and rescue operations?
So we're well synced with our state partners. We've got teams in the State Operations Center, and we've embedded in all of the counties that are most significantly impacted. We've brought in federal search and rescue teams. We've brought them integrated with the state efforts, so they are out working with the state partners to help undertake any rescue efforts that may be required. And we're also just trying to push that safety message that there are still a lot of hazards out there, including down power lines, floodwaters, areas that may still flood as the rivers come up. So we're just trying to push everyone to stay safe, listen to those local officials about when you can return, and just please stay off the roads and stay put until it's safe to do so.
For folks in Florida who need help from FEMA, what should they be doing right now? And what is your message to the people who have heard falsely that they're only entitled to a few $100s of aid?
Yeah, first thing you do is obviously make sure your home is safe. It's safe to be there. But if you do get home, and what you first want to do is take pictures. You want to document what the damages were. When it comes to the point to do assessments and look and register for assistance, that's going to be important. It's been said obviously that FEMA only provides $750. That's not true. That is the first type of assistance that people impacted by a storm like this can get access to. It's for those upfront things they might need, like food, water, diapers, etc. But after that, there are opportunities to get additional assistance, temporary housing assistance, access to a hotel room, a range of other things. So there's more to be provided than just that. That's just the initial funding. And we want people to trust that FEMA's here to help them, and they should register for assistance if they need it so that we can begin that process.
And FEMA was already dealing with the aftermath of Hurricane Helene 2 weeks ago. How does this result from Hurricane Milton, how does that compare?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, just the fact that these two storms have impacted the same area, our hearts go out to those people that are impacted. It's very difficult to go through something like this and to have those impacts multiple times, that we're only once, and so our hearts are going to be with them. Obviously, there's some complications with having multiple disasters. We do have resources there, though, that are already deployed. We're already working with the state. We've already surged our staff there, with many others, to be able to help. So it's going to be a long road, but we're going to work with the communities and all of our partners to help people first stay safe and then recover as best as they can.
All right, Keith Turry from FEMA, thank you so much, and thanks for what you do. CNN side by side with rescue teams on a boat. What a sheriff told our reporters about people he knows in his community now among the rescued today. And some breaking news, deadly strikes in Lebanon, at least 22 people killed reportedly by the IDF. Is this the beginning of a bigger conflict to come? We're going to go to CNN's Ben Wiedemann, who's in the region. We're back in a moment.
America's Choice 2024 is brought to you by Vidgard Hytrulo and Vidgard.
If you have generalized myasthenia gravis, picture what life could look like with Vidgard Hytrulo, a subcutaneous injection that takes about 30 to 90 seconds. For one thing, could it mean more time for you? Vidgard Hytrulo can improve daily abilities and reduce muscle weakness, with a treatment plan that's personalized to you. Do not use Vidgard Hytrulo if you have a serious allergy to any of its ingredients. It can cause serious allergic reactions like trouble breathing and decrease in blood pressure leading to fainting, and allergic reactions such as rashes, swelling under the skin, shortness of breath, and hives. The most common side effects are respiratory and urinary tract infections, headache, and injection site reactions. It may increase the risk of infusion-related reactions and infections. Tell your doctor if you have a history of infections or symptoms of an infection. Talk to your neurologist about Vidgard Hytrulo for GMG and picture your life in motion.
Switch to Shopify so you can build it better, scale it faster, and sell more. Much more. Take your business to the next stage when you switch to Shopify.
Meet the Squad, the radical anti-Israel members of Congress. Kamala Harris embraces and defends the Squad even after Ilhan Omar made disgusting anti-Semitic comments. And Harris joined the Squad in sympathizing anti-Israel protesters.
I do understand the concern. I've been there for decades.
Kamala Harris is no ordinary Democrat. She stands with the Squad, not with us. RJC Victory Fund is responsible for the content of this message.
Getting a first deal with Subway has never been easier. Just buy any footlong in the app, get another free. The only hard part is telling Travis he doesn't get the second footlong. Wait, seriously? I got you next time, buddy. Order now in the Subway app.
Problems with gray hair? Not anymore. With the new Alka-Seltz Gray Attack, the easy-to-use shampoo for darker and thicker looking hair day by day. Fight for your hair with the new Alka-Seltz Gray Attack. Available on Amazon.
Customize and save for Liberty.
Oh, only pay for Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Hi, I'm Jay Jackson. For almost 20 years, Abacus Life has been purchasing life insurance policies for seniors. And in just seconds, you can use the free calculator at abacuspace.com to learn what your policy might be worth. For many of my clients, selling their life insurance to Abacus was right for them and their estate plan. Don't sell or lapse your policy without going to abacuspace.com first. There are no fees and no obligations. Get the real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus.
Dude, what are you doing? Protecting my car. That's too much work. WeatherTech is so much easier. Laser measured floor liners up here, seat protector and cargo liner back there. Nice. Out here's side window deflectors. And mud flaps. And the bump step. Keep the bumper deck free. Cool. It's the best protection for your vehicle. New or pre-owned. Great. Oh, order. WeatherTech.com.
Closed captioning brought to you by Mesobook.com.
If you or a loved one have mesothelioma, we'll send you a free book to answer questions you may have. Call now, and we'll come to you. 800-821-4000.
Hurricane Milton's storm surge has inundated parts of Tampa on Florida's Gulf Coast. Officials say crews had to rescue more than 135 people from a flooded assisted living facility this morning. CNN's Isabel Rosales was with one crew earlier today during one rescue. Isabel, in many cases, you tell us the only way to reach people in trouble is by boat.
By amphibious vehicles, either by an airboat or that sort of vehicle that can go into these floodwaters. In certain portions of this neighborhood, it actually reaches up to chest level. So this is the Great American Assisted Living Facility where the Sheriff's Office here in Hillsborough County focused their efforts this morning to get out over 100 people that were in desperate need of their help. Water coming out of the air vents, they told me, overnight, suddenly. An area they never expected because they're so far inland to take on this sort of flash flooding from all of the torrential rainfall from Milton. And that is what they experienced. A lot of the people in there could not walk, Jake. They used wheelchairs, walkers, a lot of them on medication and oxygen tanks. So clearly a very important mission by HCSO to get these people out. I spoke with Sheriff Chad Cronister during one of these rescue operations. Here's what he told me.
I've never seen flooding like this. We had people that evacuated here to make sure they were safe. They listened. They came here. 135 elderly disabled individuals that we rescued earlier. They came here. They were evacuated from Bradenton to stay safe. This is a neighborhood that doesn't have a lot. They have very little. And the very little they had, they lost everything. We have water 4 feet up into the first floor here. This is a heavily Latino community. Their church is gone. Their hogs are gone. Again, they don't know the church. These are people
Just finished. Jake, you said that there were people from Bradenton, the South and Manatee County, people who came here thinking that they would be safe in the life of this is so there. And of course, they found themselves in this extremely dangerous situation. And the child didn't know about this. Rookie years as a deputy, we spent in this community called the University of Oregon. So this is so much for them to see. Let me also show you this. So it's like a certain situation, right? That is people without situation. And now folks out here, see waving, trying to live life as they can. They're dry up there, but to get out of this community, they have to make a choice, either wading through these waters or calling HCSO for help. ¿Está bien, señor? ¿Está bien? Sí. También, yeah. They're Latino, heavily Latino community, as the sheriff here said. A lot of them giving me the thumbs up. Children, I've seen them playing, with each other and playing ball, trying their best to just go day by day and waiting for these floodwaters to retreat here. What else can they do? And beyond that, Jake, a long process here to recovery for those that did take on water in their homes.
All right, Isabel Rosales in Tampa, thank you so much. In St. Lucie County on Florida's east coast, at least 5 people have been killed in a massive tornado outbreak. At least 9 tornadoes touched down there. St. Lucie County Sheriff Keith Pearson tells us now. Sheriff Pearson, at least 9 tornadoes struck your county. It killed at least 5 people. Some of those deaths, we're told, were in a mobile home retirement community. Are all of the residents of the area accounted for, specifically in the retirement community? Tell us what the status of search and rescue is right now.
So not everyone is accounted for. Search and rescues are still active. It's a rescue mission at this point. Yesterday, about 24 hours ago, the first feeder man from Hurricane Milton came through. When it came through, it produced multiple tornadoes in a 20-minute span. Our deputies reported back seeing 6 different individual tornadoes on the ground, and they all funneled to the north, and they struck this neighborhood, which is a 5-foot home neighborhood, a 55 and older neighborhood, and it just completely left devastation in there. Within an hour and a half, Governor DeSantis had the National Guard here, along with search and rescue teams, our fire rescue, our deputies. We are actively, throughout last night, during the storm, we're going through the rubble trying to rescue as many people as we can, and we are actively searching and trying to save lives right now.
You have said that hundreds of homes were completely totaled by the tornadoes in the county before Hurricane Milton. even arrived. Are you expecting that the death toll might rise?
You know, I don't wish that, but again, we're trying to be as positive as we possibly can. And again, we have hundreds of people, search teams going through the rubble of these residences that are just completely devastated.
The county's telling the public to stay off the road, stay inside. Yeah, keep going. I'm sorry, we lost your audio there for a second. Please continue.
What's what? Hi, Charger.
So we're focused all of our efforts right here. We're not having these other issues throughout the county, although we do have lots of structures that were completely demolished. We've got a great community, so we don't have any issues going on and restricting anybody from moving or doing anything like that. But again, all of our efforts right now are in rescue mode, trying to save as many lives as we can actively right now here in the Spanish Lake Superior.
So the county is telling the public to stay off the roads, stay inside until everything is going to be safe and the all clear has been given. Do you have any idea of when that might be?
We haven't restricted movement. You know, we're encouraging people to stay indoors, but we haven't issued any orders on that. Again, we're not having these issues county-wide. We're just bringing the assets to this.
That's like visit legacybox.com today and get 50% off. Are you or a loved one who the ages of 51 years old? If you are under 50 years old, you will receive Social Security disability or Medicare. If you answer yes, you may qualify for $30,000 in funeral insurance for only pennies a day.
And for the breaking coverage continues, we're going to take you to North Tampa. Now residents are doing flooding power outages up there.
We'll be right back.
Our sympathies, my sympathies, go out to you. We will continue to be here for you for as long as it takes in order to get our community back to the new normal. But I must ask of you, going forward over the next few days, please continue. Knowledge for only pennies a day?
Yeah.
Of his lip? Going to be extremely hazardous. Please help us accomplish that goal. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Confirmed, so, thank you. So 4 deaths, 3 had trees fall on their homes, and that's how they were killed. 1 was a heart attack.
As of right now, we can confirm 4 fatalities. 2 of those were due to trees falling on their residences. 1 was a cardiac issue that EMS just could not get to in time, and another one was an issue, probably cardiac, that occurred while they were boarding up their home.
And do you know about how many high water rescues you've had to do?
At last count, when I talked to our folks in fire and law enforcement, we had effected at least 170 high water rescues. That number may have increased since the last time I talked to them. Sheriff, do you have a different number, sir?
No, what we did there was a two-tiered approach. The first tier was medical emergencies and folks who would call and say, hey, the flooding's coming in, it's a matter of serious vital injury or death. And then tier 2 was, I got a foot of water in my house, I can't get out, I have to go somewhere dry, can you come and get me? So that's how we worked it during the height of the storm. It was tier 1, and then once the storm and the eye passed us, then we started working on tier 2. Obviously, tier 1 was always a priority, so as the director said, it was about 170 that we were able to get safely out.
And I know.
So 100-mile-an-hour wind gusts here, so you're going to get those strong wind gusts look like the strongest wind gusts will stay offshore. As far as the total rainfall, some of these areas are still going to deal with the impacts of that flooding. So we'll be tracking that, and also we'll see some elevated storm surge as we get into this evening. Stay right here with that on our head. We'll be right back.
We dug deep on the back 9, was into the back in 32 again. It was 33, around a 71.
That's a very, very good question. That's around 6 homes. You have to maintain it's really important.
We're out 38. Actually, a good deal of mental fortitude is a tough part.
restrictions freaking out them out. What do you do?
More expensive where people are going without it. So is FEMA there to make. What is the role of FEMA when someone who's suffered such a loss that a Milton or a Helene or a Beryl or a Francine can bring their way?
Well, I think I would start by saying all disasters start and end at that local level, right? And so the local emergency managers, I was a local emergency manager, they start with those initial response actions. And as we come in to help support individuals that have had damages or have needs, their first line is really insurance, and our programs help jumpstart that recovery process. And we give some financial assistance to support them. If they still have unmet needs, then we can help bring in the rest of the volunteer community or other parts of the state that can help bring people the resources they need to start their recovery process, get on that road to rebuild their lives.
And real fast, people who are dealing with Helene or Milton or Beryl or Debbie or Francine, where can they go right now? Where can they find help from FEMA if they still are in need of help?
So if you're in one of those counties that was impacted and declared by the state, and I think, most of the counties that the governors have asked for have been declared across the 6 states, they can go to disasterassistance.gov. That's where they can apply for assistance. That's where they can get the financial resources to help them on their road to recovery. They can call 1-800-621-FEMA. Or we're going to have disaster recovery centers and personnel walking around in the streets helping people register for assistance. It's the best place to go right now.
Administrator Griswold, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Paul. I really appreciate it.
Hopefully we won't see you again.
I know.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. So, this is a long road back. So the FEMA is definitely here on the ground. They have teams in all the disasters. So, Dr. Knapp, we are still, I guess it's, trying to do the math, 7 more weeks to go in hurricane season, and we're not done yet, but hopefully we are. But we can never say we're done until we officially are.
And we are just about done with the direct impacts of Milton itself. It is a post-tropical but still hurricane strength system that is moving off the coast pretty quickly, 20 miles an hour, but it is still a large and powerful frontal system. And the reason Hurricane Center is still writing advisories on it is because it is still producing wind and water problems on land. On its backside here, we still have tropical storm warnings up for the coast of Georgia and for northeastern Florida. And Weather Service offices have wind advisories for east central Florida and for portions of Georgia and South Carolina. Again, the wide pressure gradient still producing wind gusts over 30 miles an hour, especially near the coastline. Look at Charleston gusting to 35 at the airport, a little bit inland, and it's gusting over 25 miles an hour down even into southern Florida. But the winds are trending weaker, and I'm hopeful that before long, maybe at the 5 p.m. advisory, Hurricane Center can take down that tropical storm warning. Storm surge warning might be another story simply because we have the onshore push and high astronomical tide combining to produce some flooding at the coast and into rivers. The St. Johns River is in the storm surge warning as well, and that's where we still can exceed that 3-foot threshold of salt water flooding above normally dry ground. And when you have the water of the Atlantic being pushed by the winds toward the opening to the St. Johns River, and this gauge here that's 2.5 feet of flooding above normally dry ground is right near downtown Jacksonville, so it's not on the Atlantic front. So that is keeping the St. Johns River high, and then you add the rain that we have gotten. River flooding is going to continue to be a problem, but at least this big beast of a system is on its way out. Just some lingering showers in Florida for the rest of the day out.
Well, Dr. Knapp, I want to get folks at home caught up on what we know. Unfortunately, more deaths being confirmed. At least 11 people have now died because of Hurricane Milton. 2 of those were in St. Petersburg. 4 people died in St. Lucie County, where we had a tornado destroy a neighborhood. President Joe Biden, he called Florida Governor Ron DeSantis this morning to offer support and federal aid to the state. And Walt Disney World remains closed today. They have announced they do plan to reopen the park tomorrow. Now, Milton brought one huge threat, I think, that a lot of people were pretty astounded by, and that was tornadoes. Tropical tornadoes, they are common, but tornadoes that look like this, A little less common, a little bit more unique from Milton. We saw those supercells lined up. Nearly each storm was rotating, it felt like. This one was in Royal Palm Beach in South Florida. You can see a very well-defined cone tornado. There were 126 warnings, by the way, issued in the state of Florida. That was the record for the state in one day. And this tornado formed near Vero Beach. Here you can see the size and the scope of this tornado, significant damage in that area. And again, we have heard about loss of life, unfortunately, because of those tornadoes. You know, Reynolds Wolf is out there in Lakewood Park, Florida. Reynolds, again, not uncommon to get these tropical tornadoes. Usually they are brief, they are, usually weaker, short-lived, but these ones yesterday were packing the punch. Already one EF3 at least has been confirmed.
Yeah, and they're all in rain lab too. The ones that we're seeing, the video is pretty compelling. I mean, if someone showed you a video and told you this was from the upper Midwest, or maybe this from parts of Texas, maybe the Central Plains, you'd buy it. But it happened right here in Florida. You're seeing the evidence all around where we happen to be. And in St. Lucie County, this is just one of many examples. You see the shattered trees, the structure, where the outside walls, at least towards the front of the house, are in relatively decent shape. I mean, save for where the garage happened to be, but I mean, the roof is gone. Windows are shattered. The front door remains intact. However, you look at one wall of the bedroom, that no longer exists. I mean, just, wow, I don't even know where you begin when it comes to cleaning up when you have a community that's been affected like this. But you've got tree damage all over the place, but that has certainly been cleared on this roadway, so people are able to make their way on through. How's it going, sir? So people are able to make their way on through and see a landscape, a community that has been changed in a tremendous way, and really in a matter of seconds. So what I understand is that it happened very quickly at 4:30 yesterday afternoon, and this is what happened. I mean, you get a state where when it comes to preparedness, no one prepares like Florida.